Good evening, everybody, and welcome along to WOR. I am just going to make sure a few things are ticked and correct for us. We are back for World Online Restart. Ross and I were just having a joke about that before. We are never going to get away from that. Anyway, as I've mentioned, Ross is going to be my co-commentator for Season 18. We're at 18 amazing seasons here in WOR, and yeah, it's going to be a great one tonight, isn't it?
Yeah, and I mean, looking forward to seeing what we're finally going to have for WR. I mean, obviously we haven't had the racing yet. This is the first time we've got a bit of racing ahead of us. Kind of looking up at the screen here, I've seen your reaction there. I do see a little bit of rainfall here in qualifying, which is going to be interesting. Of course, unfortunately, as we said, yeah, World Online Restart returned with the unfortunate slipstream glitch we've got. Ghost collisions are off, so we're going to have to just deal with that for the moment and have a restart after this. But yeah, another interesting season. The grid looks very competitive. I have to say, I can't really pick a winner from it, but yeah, it'll be one to look out for.
Definitely, and well, if you hadn't guessed by that shocked look and all that, it is absolutely pouring it down in Melbourne. Therefore, it is the complete opposite to what's happening in the UK right now, and we are sweltering here. I really feel sorry for the driver, for the guys doing it on the Sims and what have you, because they are going to be absolutely sweltering. Yeah, okay. Let's go have a look at the calendar to start off with, because we started Australia and we finished in Japan, but in between we've got Austria, Belgium, Sao Paulo or Brazil, Qatar, Abu Dhabi, Italy. I believe that one is Imola. I could very well be wrong though. Then Bahrain, Mexico, Saudi Arabia, and then finishing at Japan. Actually, looking at the time trial tracks, it was Imola, so it might be Monza. I will get it right for next week's show. But anyway, it's a very stacked calendar, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of tracks to really look out for. Actually, I'm very excited to see just how today gets on. Obviously, we have got ourselves an interesting track in Australia, but yeah, as you said, I mean, the tracks aren't really. I wouldn't say there's anything to really look out for, other than the fact that obviously we're going to have a lot of fast circuits, which is what I like to see. The racing is also very, very good when it comes to the fast circuits. So honestly, I don't know what one to pick out to be the best. You never really can predict it, especially with how the game is as of now. But I think for at the moment, I'm going to just look forward to what we've got in front of us, because Australia, personally, one of my favourite tracks to look for.
Yeah, and it's got some incredible. Well, since the track changes, it's had some incredible races here. And talking about the track, let's have a look at this. The 14-corner circuit now, I believe, well, that's three DRS zones? 4 DRS zones? I can't even remember now. I think it's 4, isn't it? Between turns 14 and turn 1, turn 2 and turn 3, turn 8 and turn 9, and between turn 10 and 11 are all DRS zones here. And it is absolutely going to be well, I'm certain, a cracker of a qualifying session, let alone the race. Let's I suppose it's time for us to head over to the track and have a look at how bad the weather is. Everyone's on intermediate tyres for the time being, but is that going to be suitable enough to set the fastest the faster of the laps?
I mean, yeah, we're going to have to just find out now. If you kind of look at the onboards of some of the drivers, the rain definitely hitting heavy, as we can see. I'm kind of furious at the moment. He's on a flying lap attempt here with the old black car. It seems he's picked 4. I'm not sure what the title cars are. Some of the drivers going to avoid that today with the F1 World Car being selected, but coming to the end of sector 1, a 30.1. As you say, we're going to have to just take judgment of as the laps come in, what we're going to have to look at, what's going to be fast and what not. But it looks okay so far. A little slidey through some of these faster corners. As we know, this game isn't really nice in the fast corner at the rear end of the car, so through some of these kind of fast left right coming up now, they're going to have to be extra careful, especially in the wet. But it looks like Furious has got it planted nicely on the exit there, a little drift, but nothing that will stop him from using that ERS. Of course, now in the F1 24 game with the 3 ERS modes, none, medium, hot lap, and also overtake through as before. I should be saying, sorry, Furious seems to have hooked it up nicely coming towards the end of the lap now.
Yeah, let's see how he handles this one. And it's still a little bit slidey through at times, even when he's got the car straightened back up. It just seems to, the back end, want to just jog out and maybe make a little bit of a mistake for him. But he's crossing the line now with a set time of a 1:26, pretty much dead, which is not too bad to start off with. let's go on board with Zorzo to see what he can do as he's heading now into turn number 11. Obviously no DRS zones activated for the qualifying session because it's absolutely persisting it down.
Yeah, it really is. Looking at Zorzo's camera, come for the final corner, of course, go to the cars in front. I think it should be putting him off. He's got the foot hopefully down all the way as fast as he can. You can see the struggle in the traction on the right hander. Upshifting the gears as fast as he can, get the fifth gear, turning on the battery. Across the line comes Zorzo, who doesn't seem to go any faster than anyone ahead at 27.1. Definitely not a time to be looking at so far. The track is ramping up. It's a couple of times flying in now. TTM Lucas is finishing off a lap there. Looks to be MVR just in across the line. He's second place on a 25.7. Next to maybe PRT Joe Murphy. Joe Murphy across the line. He also breaks into that 0.4 gap. So a bit of a gap now between the front runners and the mid pack. A 26.4 being the kind of mid mark, 25.6 by Barra Q is something to be beaten at right now.
Yeah, we're not 100% sure what, well, which car is is which on the mini map. So do bear with us for this one while we try and figure out. And you know, something for the drivers as well. When it comes to pits, their teammate will be one person in this qualifying session, but when it comes to the race, it'll be a different person because we're doing the restart, isn't it? So this is going to get quite confusing for some of these drivers, which is definitely going to be interesting to keep an eye out. I'm not sure if Shazoo Venom is on a lap time, but he seems to be going a little bit slow as he rounds sector 3.
Yeah, I mean, his battery looks low enough. He seems to be on a flying lap here, maybe just struggling a bit on the traction, which I think is a lot of the driver's problem at the moment with the wet, really kind of picking up. You can see when the right hander, just how hard it is to get that traction down. Then going to run out of VRS here, he is going to run out of deploy, so you're going to lose a little bit of time across the line. He still puts together a 26.7 though, which is put him in between TTM Lucas and GT10 Ghost King. I also seen, I think that was TF10 Nick on a lap as well. He is indeed on a flying lap attempt. This bright red car, maybe imitating the Ferrari here, but he's going to have, of course, no DRS with the wet. Using all the battery across the line, is going to run out just before, perfectly enough. It's going to be at 26.9 though for TF10 Nick.
Let's go on board with Gabble. He's previously been someone who is relatively good in qualifying pace in previous seasons, which is on different games. On the F1 24 game, we're not 100% sure on full pace yet for these drivers, but if Gabble knows a thing or two, he will throw this into a decent qualifying position. I'm certain of that one, but again, back ends seem to be stepping out an awful lot at the moment. It's tricky conditions.
Yeah, I'm not really sure if it's going to be switching at all to drive at the moment. It looks like the rain is still going. Gabor sliding through the final corner there. He took a little bit of the curve, which might have affected his exit, but nothing will affect him too much, so he still puts together a 26.2, up into 4th place for MVR Gabor. His MVR compatriot Justin just up ahead there in 2nd place as well. Other than that, though, it looks to be a pretty quiet track. Unfortunately, Cloud LXV has invalidated. Quantum is on a flying lap, though, at the moment for another part of MVR's eSport team, I should say, but the car coming through this middle part of Sector 2. Now, it's going to be the hardest two corners, arguably, on the track, I would say, other than maybe that long right-hander at the end of the lap. You can see having to take it fast enough but not losing traction being the key to the moment. You can see just get enough traction on the exit, and he'll keep it grounded all the way through. You can see slightly the dry line, or more the slippy line, being used as much as they can, because if you touch that wet bit on the outside, you will be struggling for traction a lot, especially for these faster corners like the one coming up here.
Yeah, it seems like that right-hander turn 12, the back end does step out a little bit, which is offsetting some of the drivers. But down the start-finish straight goes Quantum. Again, the back end just squiggles out a little bit for him, but he's going to set a lap time. It's up to 4th place, which is a relatively, well, I say relatively, it's a very good lap time for him. Into the pits goes Quartz. Let's have a look at Cloud. He's not invalidated this time. Let's see if his all-black livery car is going to be able to do the job for him as he heads on down into turn 9.
Yeah, Cloud, I'm not sure, is on a fast lap, but I think he might have the battery off. He has got none on the left-hand side. Yeah, it doesn't look a little slow lap here from Cloud, though. I tell you, he's not on a slow lap, though. That's furious. Right to the top of the session, breaking the 0.5 barrier as early as 8 minutes and 50 seconds left. That is a fly of a lap there from TTM Fury, and that's PGR Andrea now getting himself going onto a flying lap. He just finished off ties turn 1 and 2. He's actually validated on the exit of sorry, not the two there, unfortunately. Who hasn't validated though is a bright yellow car in behind of Mr. MVR Chelsea. Looking through the sector one tricky part of the track. Now, obviously, there's a higher downforce part of the track. You need to get as much traction as possible, get down onto that power. And you can see sliding his way through the exit of turn 4, now through turn 5. He's still sliding away at the rear end. You said a lot of squabbles everywhere, but they're still keeping it straight and hoping to put the lap time together.
Yeah, it's really, really interesting. Barracu throwing a 25.4, but we'll stay on board with MVR Chelsea. And while Division, or Tier 2, I should say, was wet, well, drivers were able to get one dry lap time in, we here in Tier 1 have just had full wet, or full intermediate conditions throughout. Just a quick one into the chat. Welcome along everyone who is watching, and thank you Cameron's dad for continuing to support your son as avidly as you have. It's always good to see. MVR Chelsea then coming into this final part of the track, turns 13 into 14. It is looking a bit squiffy, but everyone else's lap time has looked squiffy, and that may be a little bit more stable than anyone else we've seen coming down, but it's only up to P10 for him at the moment, seeing as we've spoken about him and barely spoken about him at all through this stream, and that's Cameron Dowds, who is on a chance of winning 4 and a bounce in console tier 1. Obviously that is including F1 23 included in that, but he's only up to P10. That's not the qualifying he would have wanted.
Yeah, there has been some struggles with drivers that are right at the top of last game, other than the fact that maybe Gabor and Joe Murphy, of course, they were guys at the front running of tier 1 at the back end of the season. But yeah, nothing to really write off some of these guys. You just never know what they're able to pull off when it comes to these laps. I can see the man that has topped the session already. Barracu is back on a flying lap once more. I want to see what he can put together now. He's also put together the fastest time of the session so far, 25.432. Potentially we could see a 25.1, maybe even a 25.0. That would be an absolutely astounding lap time, especially for the first qualifying session of the WR Crossplay Tier 1. Just going towards the end of Tier 1, towards Turn 1, there was Barracu. He got it a little bit wrong, but he's got it okay so far for the back end of the lap. Not terribly close to the car. He is slightly up though in that first sector. It's not optimal, but he is already up in that 25.432.
Furious 24.9. He is not hanging around at all. I didn't think he was on a lap time. I thought he was just starting a lap, but he's proven me wrong. Let's see what Nick can do, because he was up in his second sector. But that is an incredible lap time by TTM Furious. Let's see what Nick can do. He's only up to P14. Wow, there is some incredible lap times coming in. Barracu is still up a tenth of a second. I'm not sure if he's going to know how, or not how, but how he's going to battle TTM Furious, because Furious has put a wonderful lap time on.
Yeah, Furious storming the timesheets there at 24.9. Barracu mess up there at the back end of the lap. Barracu across the line, he's still improved. 0.3 of an improvement is not enough to trump Furious. I was looking at the 0.0, then we have got a 0.9 from TTM Furious. We couldn't have asked for much more from Furious. Now I'm not sure if he's going to be able to get another lap, and he should have enough time, mind you, but will he opt to? I'm not too sure. But Ghost King is just finishing off sector 1 here. I want to see what he can do. Ryan just leaning on the pits on Joe Murphy. Gabor back out onto a lap. Ghost King though, coming towards the end of his final lap attempt here. He looks to have had a pretty, not the greatest sector 1 there. He is slightly down in that sector 1, but plenty of time to gain. No coming down the straight now. Use that overtake to your advantage. Of course, no DRS, so you'll lose that advantage of having the rear wing open. You've now got all the battery in the world to use, but to burn enough that you've got enough at the back end of the lap to use to gain across the finish line, which is where some of these drivers seem to be gaining a lot of the time.
Definitely, and he's gone purple in sector 2, which is absolutely crucial for his lap time if he wants to get in front of Gabor. Gabor is out on out lap now with 4 minutes left of the session. I'm not sure, Ross, if you disappeared there or if it was just a cut-off. I'm not sure, but there was a Ghost King has pulled over and is not going to go any quicker that lap.
Oh yeah. Is it back now? Everyone
yes.
Okay? Hopefully everyone's fine now. That's okay then. I think it must have just been a call off whatever's happened. Yeah, Ghost King though, I had seen the mistakes he made on the entry of Sector 3. He just got all on that curve on the left-hand side and unfortunately ruined his lap time. Other than that, though, Kei not making an improvement. FPR Zorzo has also got a lot of battery there, so he's not on a flying lap of 10th. I think a lot of these drivers actually are just finding the time. Now, like TTM Lucas, though, who's down the 19th place with 26.7 currently for the man in the lovely McLaren livery here, we should say. He's 4.5 tenths up now, 5 and a bit tenths up now. He's not going to really find enough time to jump any higher than what he is now if that's the only time he can find. But he's got one more full sector to go. One of the more crucial parts of the track. You get the perfect turn about here, which looks to be okay. Get the traction down. He's got a lot of battery left to use across the line. So maybe TTM Lucas could jump into the mid pack here.
Let's see what he can do. TTM Flotman up into 11th at the moment, his TTM teammate, but into the pits. For Lucas, he wasn't happy with that lap time. I'm guessing is why he's thrown his car into the pits there. Here is Hazara as coming round the final corner now and down the start-finish straight for their possibly last lap time. They've only managed 19th place for the time being. Let's see what Gabor can do. I know they've invalidated as well. I wonder if Ghost King he's down on his lap time, so he's going to push this lap. This is going to be Ghost King's final lap.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a lot of people's final laps. I think Furious has accepted his fate of he's not going to get into the lap, and Ghost King wide at turn number 1. Unfortunately, that is him out of it now. I don't know if he's going to have actually he might have enough time. Maybe, hopefully he's got the fuel for it though, is a big question. He's definitely got enough time to get round. If he's got the fuel for it, he will be able to go again. How are the others getting on? Is that MVR Gabor on the lap? It is indeed. MVR is not on the lap, sorry. I mean, Gabor going for a second out lap. Joe Murphy though is on a flying lap in 10th, up in 5th place so far. The guy there with Furious has actually just come out of the pits. It's a very busy Sector 1 currently, but everyone coming out of the pits and starting off their final flying lap at 10th. Joe Murphy though is 4.5 tenths up in the first sector alone. This could be an absolutely astonishing lap for Murphy here if he can hook it together.
Yeah, Joe Murphy's got a big chance. He was one of the ones last season who was doing very, very good up against the likes of Kai Pearson and Cameron Dowd. Can he do it again this season, in season 18, the first season of F1 2024 here in WOR? He's looking pretty solid at the moment, and it is really quite off-putting that there's no like Red Bull or McLaren. It is just these world cars, but hopefully it's not off-putting for them, and he's round the penultimate corner, round the final corner now, down the start-finish straight for his probably last time in here tonight in qualifying, and Joe Murphy will go pole with a 24.8. That is provisional. We've got some quick drivers, Furious being one of them, to set a lap time.
Yeah, I think he probably would have gained a little bit more if he had saved up a little bit more battery near the back end of the lap. I'm looking at NLR Ryan, he's 3.5 tenths up in the middle sector. This lovely NLR green and the white car. Can he put it together and potentially steal pole position from BRT Joe Murphy? It looks as though that's Shizu Venom, of course, finishing up for the session. P12 at best. For him, we can have a look at Ryan though. He's coming for the final sector now. Can he find any more time in this last sector? The jump, he needs to find at least 4 and a bit tenths in this final sector to gain ahead of the guys. You see, he's down in 5th place now. Barracu and Justin ahead in the 25s, and Furious and Joe Murphy in the 24 sessions. Officially ended. The checkered flag is raised. NLR Ryan though, where can he put his green and white car? 2nd place for NLR Ryan at best. Where can the others put themselves though?
Let's see what TTM Furious can do. This man has been, well, the man to beat along with Barracu for the majority of this session so far. He's currently P3. Joe Murphy and Ryan are ahead of him in qualifying at this present moment in time. I think there was someone that just maybe it was Zorzo that's gone up. Barracu goes quickest with a 24.7, and there's a back end stepping out for Furious. All the pressure is on this man at the moment. He's got to make sure he keeps it nice and steady between now and the end of qualifying. Steps out a little bit more, but it's looking still solid for TTM Furious as he comes down the start and finish straight for the last time. It is pole provisionally with a 124.728.
Wow, I thought Gabor might have found a bit of time there, but he hasn't. Gabor stayed in an 8th place. Good to see one into qualifying. Baraki looked to have certainly got pulled, but Tweety and Furious puts it together once more and will steal the top of the starting grid from Baraki himself with the Xbox PlayStation, Xbox PlayStation 1, 2, 3. What an interesting qualifying it had been. Cameron Dowds, P14 for the man looking to go 4 in a row, and of course F1 at 23 races. Other drivers down, of course, Gakowski jumped to P5, but down to P12. Qualifying over to PGR and Dre and TT Lucas get themselves off the mark early, but what a lap for Furious though. Pole position nicely secured.
Yeah, it's very, very interesting to say the least here tonight so far. We'll wait for everything to hang in there and go through the order. But Furious will be very, very happy. He won't be furious with his lap time. He'll be absolutely amazed with his lap time that he's got himself on pole for the time being. Ryan did a great job as well. We can't take away from the rest of them that threw in wonderful lap times in the end to make it very entertaining. But it is Furious from Barracu on the front row of the grid. Then we've got Joe Murphy, NLR Ryan, MVR Justin, Quantum, Ghost King, Gabor, and Andrea and Lucas rounding out the top 10. Then we had Flotman, Gatkowski, Zorzo, Cameron Dowds, Quartz, Cloud, Chelsea, Venom, Nick and Hazara there rounding out the rest of the rest of the grid. And wow, well, Ross, that's a wet qualifying.
It was indeed. It was. I didn't expect that first race of the season, I'll tell you that much. But yeah, no, I'm happy to see it went pretty well for some, because Furious and of course it'd be Furious and Ryan and not such Barracu as well, of course, locking out the front row. That'll be a good way to see who's going to get ahead in turn 1. If Furious gets away slow, can Barracu potentially sneak up the inside and take the early line? But I don't know if he's ready to take that risk as early in round 1, but we'll need to wait and see. But yeah, as I guess you said, Furious getting it right in the end. Barracu though just falling short right at the end of it as well.
So please bear with us while we wait for the lobby to get restarted, obviously with these non-collisions in the setting for qualifying. So we do this so we can not get the slipstream, but also
Sports. It's in the game.
It's the world F1 World Racing Cars and everything. It's we'll I'll probably, so I don't burn your ears with EA Sports. Let's mute that for a moment. No one wants to hear EA Sports shouting. But yeah, that's an interesting one. Obviously, we can't compare from Division Tier 2 tonight because that they have the right time. So apologies, guys. I've hit the intro button, which is definitely not an interest, not what you want to be going through there. But yeah, and the intro lid apparently making very loud for people as well. But I'll say that again because I'm pretty sure I've ruined it. But the last 3 times we've raced here, the winner has become the champion. It was season 9 where I think it was Kowalski who won, didn't become champion. I mean it's omens, but it's an interesting stat, isn't it? Can these drivers come up against the pressure of last 3 times, Otis, Shadow and Antoine all became champions by winning with winning this race.
Yeah, I mean obviously talk about some very big names, the likes of Otis and Antoine, especially if these guys have made those big steps up. So yeah, maybe this could be the time for Furious to pounce on the opportunity that he's got. Paul, of course, Barracu is not to be counted out either alongside him. But honestly, anyone can go on to win this race. We never know. So we have a random weather again. It could be a wet race. For what we've seen there, we've seen how hard the wet is. They were drifting all over the place, especially those fast right-hand corners. Getting the traction down early was struggling for a lot of them. The rear was going, it was kind of putting them all over the place, but unfortunately it was kept together. Furious, especially, of course, Barracu can take the praise as well for a solid P2. But yeah, I generally don't know how to expect to win. Obviously, a disappointment for Cameron Dowds down in P14, so a bit of work to do for him, but never ever write off Cameron Dowds is what I'm going to say.
Yeah, definitely after the last 2 seasons I've seen him race, he has been absolutely, the one to watch, to cause some absolute interesting racing, to say the least. So the lobby is just being reset. Hopefully we will be getting the invites in very, very shortly. But what we'll do is we'll have a quick word from our sponsors so we can get everything sorted. Well then, gents, we are back in the lobby, so it's time, I suppose, to talk about how Ross and I think this race is going to go. It's wet qualifying. We don't know if the race is going to be wet because it's a lobby reset, but I mean, if it's a wet race as well, some of these drivers are going to struggle.
Yeah, no, they will struggle a bit, and it'll be. As we've seen it in qualifying, it's the more the rear end looks to be the hardest problem. They're getting the traction down slightly, but it's as the corner goes on, the rear steps out more and more, so they're just trying to adjust, keep going with the power down. But honestly, I hope it's not a wet race. I do hope it's not a wet race, because the dry would be a fantastic spectacle to see. Of course, Tier 2 looked like a phenomenal race. I didn't catch who won that race, but it looked as though it was exciting with the overtakes and stuff, and hopefully this could be the same in Tier 1. I don't know who to expect to win, but of course, Furious on pole. Barracu in second place might be something they might get used to this season.
Yeah, there's some real Barracu, I believe, was pretty rapid last game as well. So I think we've got a nice mix, and obviously some drivers that were in Tier 1 last season are in Tier 2 this season. So it's really interesting mix of what's going ahead. Hopefully James will let us know, because he's in the chat. So tier two commentator tonight is currently in our chat box, so it's great to see. An evening to Joseph as well. I hope you're doing well. The man you've replaced is now replaced you, sorry, is alongside me tonight. So anyway, it is completely unknown. It's a fresh game, fresh season. No one really knows how this one is going to pan out, but I guess maybe have a look at the track map again of this incredible Australian Melbourne circuit. 14 corners and 4 DRS straights and a circuit length of 5.2 kilometres. We will be here for 29 laps as well, and it's going to be a very, very solid race, I believe, tonight. And for a calendar for the season as well, we obviously start in Australia, that's where we are tonight, and then we end in Japan. Australia, Belgium, Sao Paulo, Qatar, Abu Dhabi, believe maybe Monza, Bahrain, Mexico, Saudi Arabia are the tracks in the sandwich of Australia and Japan, and then the time trial tracks were Imola, Hungary, and Texas. So a load of interesting ones to come through. Let's see. And yeah, let us know in the chat who you think's going to win this one. I've seen James is saying Ryan for the win here tonight there, which is an interesting one. And while I wait for Ross's camera to kick back in, I'm not sure how that one's all panned out. We will be getting underway very, very shortly. Ross, who do you reckon?
I'm not too sure. I'm trying to fix the camera as I speak, but yeah, honestly, I'm not too sure.
Hopefully, I've not lost Ross from the chat completely there, because it cut off. But he's still there? Oh dear. Ross has left me for the time being. I think there's just a little bit of issues throughout, so maybe the I don't know.
May have fixed itself though.
Ah, there we go. We are back. I thought the Microsoft Cloud Strike had struck you as well as the rest of essential services in the UK.
Yeah, I don't know what's went wrong. A lot of silly problems here. I'll need to fix this for the next time. But yeah, I think it's all right now. Yeah, talking about the race one again. Honestly, I'm genuinely have no idea who to predict, because this is it's an interesting one. It's a grid of competitive drivers all over the place. It's some people that could win from either parts. You know, like Gabor being down there in 8th place, Cameron Dow's 14th place. If I'm really going to pick, looking at the grid we've got in front of us, I'm going to back Furious to take the win. I think Furious has got the consistency to take the win here. Hopefully with the instance as well, he should be running away with that, I feel.
So we are just about to find out if it's going to be a dry, wet or wet race. It's looking dry on my screen. Let's hope it stays that way for your sake, because you wanted it dry as well. But with that being said, it's likely, unless there's a late safety car, to be a medium hard or a hard medium race, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, this could be... Yeah, I don't really know what to expect. Tyres, of course, I don't think the softs are a viable option anymore. Just due to how inconsistent the tyre wear and stuff like that is. So potentially, I think you're right. It could be a hard medium, medium hard. Looks to be okay. All I know is that hard tyres do not wear really at all this game. So if you want to run really long on the hards, it is a very, very doable strategy.
Yeah, I believe the softs grain a little bit too quickly, and I believe with this as well, with running in the slipstream, it's still the same. You know, you can overheat your engine, and then it stop that performance at the end of the race is well compromised.
Yeah, I think that's...
Oh. Ross, are you still there? Oh, a little bit robotic there from Ross. Hopefully we will be back for that very, very shortly. But we'll wait and see. As things still causing a few issues. But yeah, so keep on with who you think is going to win in the chat. I think Aaron's there saying Cloud for the win. I think he's starting down in 13th place. Rev, I'm not even gonna say that one out. TTM saying it's a 1-2 for Haas technically, and that is correct as well. Going back to a little bit of a stat there, if you look at the teams, who the teams are, it is Haas are Barracu and TTM. Joe Murphy's in the Racing Bull, he's up there as well towards the top, but Hazara down towards the bottom. But yeah, we are very nearly. Ross, are you back? Are you? Nope, he is completely gone again. So that's not ideal for my co-commentator for tonight and for the season. But I think it is just technical issues globally at the moment. So we aren't going to blame him for that one at this moment in time. Yeah, Flopman and Nick teammates in the Williams, Zorzo and Chelsea in the Alpine. Venom is a reserve tonight. It's one to watch out for. Cloud as well. as TTM Lucas are some of the reserves for tonight's race. But yeah, so it is no equal cars, it is the world cars at the moment, and hopefully we will be back racing very, very shortly. Is that a Ross I can hear in the background?
I don't know what's going on. It's confusing me at this point. But it's these. I don't know what it is.
It's a perfect
I
time
think it's fixed.
perfect time to blame Microsoft. They've messed up the world today, so we can add you onto that list that they've messed up. But we are going to go racing very, very quickly here. We are on 5 lights, and the Australian Grand Prix is underway, and it looks like a really good start from TTM Furious from Barracu, but Barracu's got the second stage down to an art and has got the inside line and only taken Furious, and that is a move that he was desperate to do early doors. And looking at BRT Murphy, he's looking at the inside as well, but nothing doing on this occasion as Justin up into P4.
Yeah, really good start there from Barracu. As you said, the second part was fantastic. He got through nicely, bit of battle at the back, and it's Zara Venom. Collision at the back, early safety car here in tier 1. I'm not sure what went wrong with those two, but big collision has happened there. I have 2 drivers out in a matter of what's that, 4 corners. Good. Not a great start to the season for Hazara and Venom. A great start for Barracu and TTM Furious. Joe Murphy keeping his position as well with Justin and Ryan.
So let's have a look at the tyres these guys were on to start the race. Barracu, well, no wonder his second getaway, well, his second stage getaway was so good. He's on the mediums, so was Quantum, and so was NVR Chelsea. The 2 retirees, Hazara and Venom, were on hards. Everyone else in this Grand Prix is on hards as well. But safety car, I wonder if any of the medium runners, the 3 of them that there is, will decide to throw themselves into the pit lane and have a look. But Gabor is throwing himself in, as is Katkowski. Is this going to be one of those interesting things, mediums out for a lap and then onto a set of hards?
It very much could be a respectable option. I think that might be what they're doing. I know that Chelsea has just pit for the hard component tyre as well, so he switched over to the hard with Gabor Katkowski and Cloud switching to the medium. I think you're right when you say that, Gareth. It should be a switch over to the hards, I think, because mediums won't make the end of the race. They definitely won't make the end of the race, or be competitive, that is. But the hards, they will make the end of the race, so maybe they will. But the thing is, I think, is that if they get dropped out of DRS later on in the race, it could be all over. But it's maybe a gamble worth taking, because they were all, reasonably outside of the big point positions, and that's all they want to score this season.
See, I'm going to stay on board with Gabor to see what he does. He's back up to the back of this train. Let's get the track map up as well as we follow through. It looks like MBR Chelsea is the safety car. It's the same colour, yellow, that was on the track for the safety car. We don't have a safety car just running around the track randomly tonight. But an interesting start to this Grand Prix, and I'm certain Hazara and Venom are going to be fuming that they're out of this race before Sector 1 actually started.
Yeah, I think that's a fair judgment to make. I wouldn't be very happy if I spent 20 minutes of my life doing a qualifying and another 10 minutes getting to a session and then I'm in a wall with 4 corners. That's definitely not a way I want to spend a Friday night if I was Venom and Azara, but I'm sure we've got a lot more races to go and I'll have a chance to bounce back and then go for it once again. As you said, Barracu, fantastic start he got. As you said, he got a little bit slower away originally. He didn't get away from with the clutch out, but after that, after he got the car rolling, as you said, the second part of the start was tremendous. He just got the car well ahead, late braking at the turn 1 and got into that P1 position ahead of TTM Furious. But Furious, will he be mad about it? I wouldn't think so. He's on a hard component tyre. There's no need to make any risky moves early in corner 1 or lap 1 of the first race of the season. So why take any risk? He's avoiding that. Let Barracu do it. Once the DRS activates, he will be perfectly fine where he is now.
Yeah, Joseph saying he's not missed lags in the voice chats. Yeah, it's fun, isn't it? It's fun and games. I'm sure there's a little bit of lag my side as well for when Ross hears me and when you've heard me in the past. But it'll come through perfectly fine on the stream because Why wouldn't it? But yeah, look at this. Safety car still lap 3. It should be back racing underway afterwards. But no, Gabor, Gekowski and Cloud all staying out. So they could effectively, I guess, jump onto the mediums. They'll have 2 sets of mediums. They might be able to jump onto a second set of mediums, maybe a little bit earlier than the hard runners.
Yeah, I mean, that would probably be the guess I would make. They're going to try and attempt safety car is in at the end of this lap, so of course they're not going to have that any longer to get that bit of advantage. As we know though, DRS of course activates on the second lap, so all that really matters is you have a good first lap on these first set of tyres. You've got the DRS to assist you in keeping with the train, which all I know is that will be the case for a lot of these drivers. The medium runners though, Baracue, Quantum, and now of course those back 3 of Gabor, Gekowski and Cloud LXB are going to be needing to make overtakes, especially with how fresh their tyres are compared to everyone else's hard top on the tyre.
Let's see what Baracue does when he decides to go. Technically, he goes early, and we've got to remember, technically, I know it's not a Team 1 in Console Tier 1, it's more solo, but his teammate TTM Furious is behind him on the house when you look at it in that respect. But obviously with the Worlds, and look in the background there, is that an Ryan and possibly Quantum side by side as they go down the start finish straight before the safety car was in, and Quantum gets the move done. That is a very, very solid move from Quantum, and Ryan is going to be a bit annoyed with it.
Yeah, I think Ryan obviously knew the position he was in. He didn't want to battle it too hard. It's only the first corner as you're getting racing again, but I think that was a smart thing to do for Ryan. Just let it go in that position, let him run through the drivers ahead, because Ryan is not in his race at the moment. Ryan is going to be with the fresh medium runners once they make those pit stops later on in the race. Of course, now the safety cars come out, they don't have to pit as early as they might have had to originally. So they've obviously got a little bit extra firework to get used to, and they can use that to an advantage later on in the race.
Now, I will just confirm to everyone, the safety car isn't out. It is, funnily enough, a glitch in a Codemaster's game. But yeah, we are at full racing speed. It might be worth us having a look at Joe Murphy, because he is glued to the back end of Furious as they head round for the 4th time. He's wanting, I think, to make a move before the DRS is fully enabled.
Yeah, I think that might be one of the tactics he's trying to go for, trying to have the DRS just hinder him as much as it can. A couple of fast laps flying in here as expected, but DRS is now enabled for these drivers. In addition to the F1 mode, of course, DRS now activates on the second lap, so Barracuda's got a bit of defending to do from Furious, and potentially Joe Murphy maybe behind once he gets active. The DRS might want to get ahead of TTM Furious, but never counting out MVR Justin either. Quantum, of course, alongside brother in 4th and 5th. Quantum on the medium compound tyre, so you wouldn't expect Justin to really hinder Quantum's attack as he's going to make it jumping onto the long straight now. DRS will come very shortly, about 150 metres time. We'll see it for the first time in this race.
Already for Chelsea, it is a 3-second time penalty, not the day that they would have wanted. And Cameron Dowds up into 10th place, getting past Andrea in the battle there for the final point scoring position. I think Zorzo's getting quite close to Andrea as well. This is an interesting one as they come down into turn number, turn 11. I was going to say turn 10. Turn 10 was just a bit better. Andrea is dropping like a stone. This is not ideal for the PGR driver. And up the inside goes Gabor. Is it going to be? I don't think so. But he's going to stick the car in there. And that is going to be very, very tight as they head down the start-finish straight for the 5th and into the 6th time. And Gabor gets the move done. That is a very, very opportunistic move from the MVR driver.
Yeah, he's just got through on the outside, but look at Andrea coming right back at him, potentially the better exit at the exit of turn 1. Andrea's not going to go for it now, it seems. Gabor has secured himself that P13 position up ahead, but nothing really going on anymore. Ryan has built up a lot to the back of Quantum. Now it seems Quantum potentially having a bit of a mistake in that first century. There's 7.5 tenths back on Justin and Joe Murphy. They're all going to jump on the straight now anyway. DRS activating them at the rear wings of all of the cars in that 1 second gap range. Chelsea back to 3 seconds behind. They will be 10%. What could have been this race. Furious at the front is going to swap this with Barracue and retake the lead of the race once more as it was at the start of lap 1.
A little bit of a bump there to Barracue on Joe Murphy, but Joe Murphy then gets the move done. into, well, before turn 11. Joe Murphy will be very happy with that, and now fighting away for more points. And I think surely the mediums aren't overcooked. In the background, I think Ryan clips the back end of Quantum, but the medium runners really struggling, because here comes Justin up trying to have a look up the inside. I think just the grip levels possibly better, but the both medium runners struggling a little bit at the moment.
Yeah, maybe they thought, oh, Quantum and Justin at the exact same time, picking up a 3-second time penalty. I was about to say, maybe the mediums aren't as good as what they first anticipated for Barracuda and Quantum. Quantum now having a 3-second, and Justin making it a 3-second at the exact same time as the NBR from Battery. So that is a disappointment already for these guys. Only 7 laps into their WR Tier 1 season. It's only a 3-second time penalty for the guys in 4th and 5th. That will stop Justin though, which potentially getting past Barracuda. He's burning the battery, and that he's got at his disposal. He's got the DRS on now, but he's not going to have that slipstream advantage that he might have looked for. Joe Murphy closing up again on Furious. Furious is going to hold down for Barracuda, closing up on Justin as well.
This is great racing, but here comes Barracuda. Here comes Justin again on Barracuda and Joe Murphy on Furious. It's very, very close at the top. You can barely separate them. It's like just, I don't want to say it, it's like the human centipede.
Yeah, unfortunately that's probably one of the best ways to describe it for us. This long, snaky train is becoming a big thing. See the back there, PGR Andrea's getting overtaken by MVR Chelsea as well. Disaster start here for Andrea. He's had not a bad qualifying, but now all the way back down in 18th place. TTM supposed to have on lap number 1. TTM Lucas is doing okay so far, still holding out that P10 position from where he started on the hard component tyre course as well. But as you said, the medium component tyre not want to be the one to go adjusting on the round the outside of Barracuda. What a move from MVR Justin there at the exit of sector 1. Justin picked this perfect line, got on the inside, and around the outside he went, flicking it to the left hand side. There we go, up in the P3, chasing down Joe Murphy and Furious now.
That's a very, very solid move from Justin. I think that's ignited Joe Murphy as well, and going, you know what, I need to make this move up the inside of the race leader, which he has done, and it's 3 wide behind as well. This is all coming ahead. Quantum gets past Barracuda. Quantum's getting those tyres to work for him. What's happened to Barracuda, I'm not 100% sure, but Furious is under pressure. Ryan and Barracuda are fighting away as well. This is so close, and I think that's Ghost King that's somehow gone the undercut and done a switchback, as well as Flopman on Ryan.
Yeah, Barracuda went heavy on the brakes into the corner. Look again, tapped out in the rear where Cameron Downs are battling away wheel to wheel on the exit of turn 14. Cameron Downs is going to go for potential. DRS open at the rear wing for both the drivers. Look at Ryan, he's still powering down on the inside line. Ryan into turn 1 now on the inside line will keep ahead of Cameron Downs. He's just knocked back a couple of lessons here as Ryan. He's up in 5th, now down in 8th. Look at Cameron Downs going right back at the front of the battle. It's obviously Ghost King and Flopman. Flopman's going to try and hold out Ghost King. Barracuda, sorry it was. He's going to hold out P5 with Barracuda. I think it was back to the Ryan incident. Barracuda went too hot on the brakes, knocked Ryan off his path onto the curb, and that let Ghost King and Flopman go through as well as Barracuda. Drop Ryan down at the 8th place.
This is all heating up. Quantum dropping a back away from Justin a little bit as well, and that's not going to do their confidence a world of good. I think in the background, Cameron Dowds has got past Ryan finally, after Ryan having that problematic incident. Well, I say incident, it's just unfortunate, I guess. But we have got 2 trains here, and Flopman having a look up the inside of Ghost King as they head through turn 11. He's still sticking himself in there, and turn 12 is going to be very, very difficult for the both of them. I think there's front wing end plate damage to someone, or was it just a little bit of a glitch on the screen there?
I'm not too sure. I didn't see anything fly off. It potentially was a little bit one of those glitches, but it looks okay so far for the rest of them. Yellow flag in sector 3. I'm not sure what went wrong there with the TTM Lucas involved, and he's dropped back a little bit in the middle. That's Chelsea and Andrea having a battle at 16th place. But Flopman and Ghost King, what a battle that was. I think it was a little bit more intense than it needed to be on lap 10 of 29. 19 more laps to go. Like, a little bit of a chill out period here to the rest of the pie. But Joe Murphy though still needs to win for Furious and Justin. Quantum and Barracuda on the medium component tyre got to be kicking themselves. They threw away a massive opportunity and look at the mess they put themselves into.
look how close Justin is to the back of Furious as well. This is going to heat up for these guys. Quantum and Barracu have let it all go to waste, I think, with those, but they've managed to catch back up. Joe Murphy struggling without DRS. He's been passed by both Justin and Furious. I think he kind of let them through as well, but Quantum catching back up, and those medium compounded tyres really struggling a little bit at the moment.
Yeah, he darted to the left-hand side before the fast left-right hander, and Joe Murphy let Furious and Justin through, so I'm not sure if that's sort of a tactical analogy there, just trying to make sure he can just get back ahead with the DRS advantage that he's going to have, because he knows Justin's 3-second time penalty is there, so he's going to be adding that into the thought process of when he's going to make those sort of moves on Furious. Furious is currently his race. Quantum has dropped out of that DRS range though. Crucially, as early as lap number 11 on the medium compounded tyre, Quantum has dropped out of the DRS gap, they're 1.1 seconds back and struggling.
This is tight stuff for those guys, and it could be absolutely crucial. Thankfully, the safety car sign has come in. But we are on lap 11 of 29. There's a yellow flag in the background, and I believe that's for Gatkowski, who's having a bit of trouble. Furious and BRT Murphy Justin and BRT Murphy getting past Furious, and that is a 1.0 second gap between Quantum and those guys at the front. That is only going to get bigger and bigger and bigger now. I think we've got a split in this train.
Yeah, the split really has come as early as lap 11, as I said, it's just not good for both. We've got to use the battery now, we can't let this train split. If it splits now, this front three can easily run away with this advantage that they're already building up. 1.2, Quantum's in the pit lane. Quantum is into the pit lane, potentially, Gareth. It might have been Quantum that had that end plate damage that you might have saw.
Yeah, let's have a look. Let's go on board with Quantum as he's in the pit lane. I don't think I got there a bit late. I couldn't see any front wing change or anyone there that looked like it. So Gatkowski, 10-second penalty for retiring, for speeding in the pit lane and retiring from this session. He's not having the best of lucks at all. Barracu is keeping it at 1.2 seconds between him and the race leading group. So we could be right. Well, I'm saying the collective we could be right regarding Quantum now.
Yeah, and I actually did check a pit stop. I didn't see a wing change come for Quantum, so there was no wing change for Quantum. So maybe it was just the medium tyres really aren't a good tyre to be on at the moment. Potentially could be the problem. He's having 1.1 second gap now. You can see Ghost King's cutting the gap with a hard tyre. Barracu again still getting overtaken. Look at Cameron down on the inside lane. What a move on the inside. Heavy braking. Got the car stopped through. Goes the Shizou driver. He's up into 6th place. Great move there by Cameron. Hot on the brakes. And he's now promoted himself for a chance to come points.
Scotsman is doing very, very well. Still that agonising 1.2 seconds between Ghost King and the leading group. I think the leading group are kind of working together to make sure, maybe telepathically between them going, right, let's break away from these guys, and we'll have the last 10, well, maybe not 10 laps, the last 5 laps battling away. We don't know, but they're trying their best at the moment to break away. The other thing, which we mentioned earlier on as well, is pit stops. These guys obviously have teammates. We don't know whose teammate is who, do we? So there could be a case for double stack for some of these guys.
Yeah, that's the thing. None of these guys really know who their teammate is. I think it goes by how you join the lobby. So if some of them were smart enough, they might have realised who they were going to be with. If they were obviously an uneven number, they're going to know who their pit stop would have been with. So that is an awkward one, unfortunately. For some of them, they're going to know who's in the pit, so potentially it could be MVR Justin and Joe Murphy. They're in the same pit box, and that would be something to really spice things up, like double stacking, pitting at the same time. But only time will tell, unfortunately, in that case. I think I've seen a big mistake there from GT Ghost King. Ghost King actually went very heavy in the brakes, a lot of wheel spin on the exit, and Cameron down managed to close the gap, which was 7.5 tenths, down to 3.
Well, he has managed to close that gap, which is quite crucial, I think, is the best way to describe this one, because if he hadn't, they could have broken away, couldn't they? And That would have been it.
Yeah, that seriously would have been it. Justin, of course, now into the lead of the race. Joe Murphy second. TTM Furious is in third. You can see the guys on the hards slightly starting to struggle a lot more. Look at the gap between Furious and Joe Murphy in this pit of 7/10. The difference between the Joe Murphy and Furious. Furious having to use the battery just to make sure he keeps in with these two ahead that are battling quite heavily. Justin and Joe Murphy swapping positions once more. Justin, of course, now having that DRS advantage on Joe Murphy. Nothing will be too competitive over now. That's Chelsea actually in the wall and virtual safety car. Virtual safety car, NVR Chelsea in the wall before the chicane has even come. And Zorzo has a 10-second penalty to his name.
That is going to be an interesting one. Let's have a look. Pit stop wise, Quantum. Everyone's going to jump it. This is what I was looking for. People jumping into the pits under the VSC. Let's see where Quantum is going to be with all this, because he's currently at turn 12. I think he's going to be a big loser out of all this.
Yeah, potentially that. I mean, of course, he picked for the harsh until the end of the race, and he was hoping to run that out, but it looks like it's going to be the end of that scenario. And you can already see how the order's been switched up here. Yeah, Gary, because look at TTM Lucas from the pit stops. Of course, he must have been the first car in his pit box. He's up in the 5th place. Quartz up in the 6th place. Look at Quantum just going through now in the 4th place. Look at Barracuda down in the 5th place. Lucas is 6th. Flopman 8th. Justin 9th. Double stacking in really hinder some of these drivers potentially, which is annoying, of course, because just that is how the game has been made, of course, with the F1 World Car and we won in that situation with the uneven car. But look at that now, the difference in the difference. TTM Lucas up in 6th place now, and GT10 Quartz is in 7th.
And one man that, well, we didn't think he was going to be able to do much from his qualifying position, but we didn't count him out, and that's Cameron Dowds. He's up into 3rd place. He is doing a fantastic job. Lucas up into 6th. We can't, well, he's done a good job there as well. Flopman is going to be fuming. He is in 8th place, and he was ahead of Cameron Dowds.
That's what I mean, of course, the unluckiness of the double stack pit boxes is going to annoy some of the drivers, but the situation is unfortunately you can ultimately go back to virtually everything nowadays anyway. So, yeah, as you said, I always said at the start of the stream, never count out Cameron Dowds, and he is proving that point once more. He's up in 3rd place, the exact same tyre compound as Furious and Joe Murphy. This is now Battle of the Titans. These three at the front are going to have an absolute scorcher of a race, I can feel now. The difference I feel now is, though, how does TTM Lucas handle a Barracuda and Quantum who will be defending heavily on old tyres?
Yeah, that's going to be definitely an interesting one to point out with. And, you know, I was expecting a virtual safety car, and it's a full safety car. So good old co-master signs. Ghost King is down into 12th place, so I wonder if he's the one with front wing damage, because that would make some sort of sense.
Yeah, but potentially it might have been, or maybe it was just, of course, maybe Ghost King was double stacking, was one of the front runner guys, because of course Ghost King was quite high up in the train, so him being down there now means he probably was double stacking with someone that was quite high up, which you now know. Justin, of course, now in 9th place as well, so we're going to have to see what's going on with the stakes of Justin's race and Quantum. But a big thing to note, though, I see MVR currently have themselves in a 9, 10, 11 position. So all MVR drivers in that 9, 10, 11, potentially a bit of teamwork will come in here, just due to team-wide performance. It's not going to be we're not hindering each other too much to try and work back and get through this train that all ahead of them.
Yeah, and like we mentioned before, it's more of a solo race, these console tier 1s here in WOR on a Friday night, not like the World Online Racing, the World Nights, sorry, but yeah, you will still find occasionally these guys do work together just to better themselves and get some points. The safety car is in this lap. We're just over halfway here tonight. Who do you think's going to win this one now? You sticking with Furious?
I am going to not change. I'm not going to double down. I'm going to say TTM Furious is still going to win this race. I have just looked in the chat though, Gareth, I've seen Justin double stacked with Joe Murphy. The people that were 1-2 were in the same pit box.
Oh, And you mentioned that as well, didn't you?
I did. In my head, I realized I said that, just unwillingly thinking it's not going to be correct though. But unfortunately for them, Justin has lost out now to the ninth place. But plenty of time to go though. 13 more laps. Joe Murphy leads the way in the safety car restart.
And away goes Joe Murphy as well. And I think he's caught Cameron Dowds. And that is not... well, that's not an easy thing to do, catching Cameron Dowds out. Furious is caught out a little bit. Quantum trying to make inroads early on his harder compound of tyres and stick with these guys and stay away from Barracu. That's probably his main aim, is not to get caught up with those guys. But those, well, a very subdued safety car restart, unlike what we had about not 7 laps ago, probably about 15 laps ago.
Yeah, we've had a bit more of a calmer restart. You said they don't want to make any triple mistakes, any early damage, just kill off what would be a very good race. But look at Joe Murphy. He is flying out in front. He's 1 second clear of Furious here. Furious having to use a lot of battery just to keep up with Joe Murphy into that gap. Joe Murphy's went to break the DRS gap. He got his break, but unfortunately it has cost him a bit of battery, along with Furious as well. So a catch-up game here for the likes of Furious and Cameron Downs. The gap are a little bit bigger than we would anticipate during this front three. Then you've got Quantum, of course, close in behind here with Cameron Downs, not going very forward. He just knows that he can try and just chip away and see what he can claim from this race. Everyone else behind him, of course, on the fresh, medium, or a little bit older, hard on Cloud, and Gabor in the 10th and 11th. So, I think, as you say, I think it'll be only a matter of time for the guys to be able to get through on Cloud and Gabor and whatnot. But for now, they're home position.
Cameron Dowds is teetering on the edge. He is just over a second behind Furious, 1.1. He's not had the restart he would have wanted, and he's not got, well, they've not got DRS to help them at this stage. 12 laps remaining, or just under. This is absolutely insane. Justin getting past Quartz there, and Justin's had a really good restart. I think he's got past Flopman as well as Quartz. Justin trying to get himself back into the fight for the lead of this Grand Prix, but Joe Murphy, hats off to him, he is flying.
Joe Murphy is flying it there, along with Furious. Furious has been overtaken. Cameron Downs, has been overtaken by Quantum. Never count out Cameron Downs, never count out Quantum, never mind, because Cameron Downs is struggling on a brand new fresh set of medium compound tyres. Look at Barracu now, on the inside lane of Cameron Downs. Cameron Downs has been overtaken again. He's got no battery to use either. So Cameron Downs struggling here in Melbourne with the fresh medium compound tyre. The guys behind him got to be seeing this, and we need to get by him now because he's struggling now. Maybe at the end of the race he might pick up a little bit more pace with the tyres and more in more. For now, he's down in 5th place.
Furious has plugged the gap that Joe Murphy's pulling away at the time. Quantum though 2.2 seconds behind, and it's course, well, there is the snake that we were expecting a few laps before the safety car, but Quantum needs a second train, I suppose. And Cameron Downs, I wonder if there's damage to his car, or if he's just been following a bit too much in the dirty air of other people, and that's, well, top end speed has been compromised.
I don't see any visible damage, if it is damage, on the Cameron Downs Alpine livery car, but I think he's okay. As of now, this should be maybe a little mistake, or really is just struggling for a bit of pace. Look at Justin now, going to see if he can get past Cameron Downs for the moment. That's Barracu and Quantum swapping positions into the fast left-hander now. For the right-hander they go. Justin might be fancying the chances here on Cameron Downs. But look at Cameron Downs, going to move his chances on Quantum ahead. He's going to go to the inside line. Cameron Downs heavy on the brakes, into the corner he goes. He's going to be deep on the brakes. Quantum hold position. Cameron Downs still in there on the inside line. He's going to use the battery to get back through on Quantum. Quantum still holding the outside line. Cameron Downs in there. Look at Quantum still on the inside line. They're battling away really well here. Nice and clean all the way through. I'm banging the wheels. Cameron Downs is through and up into 4th place.
And that might have cost them massively to Barracu though. Is there a DRS open on Cameron Dowd's car? There is, as they head into turn 1 for the 20th time. 10 more times these guys have to do, well, 9 more times that these guys have to do that one. But Cameron Dowds is catching back up, and in the background Justin and Quantum banging wheels. I think that's Justin going off a little bit at the exit of turn 3 there. They're still fighting away, and Justin really losing position to Flotman. These medium compound tyre runners at this stage are going to be the quickest. We come to the end of this Grand Prix. The hard runners are going to be the better race tyres, I guess, to be on.
Never mind, safety car. NVR Gabor has put it in the wall. Not a usual driver to retire from any sort of race. That's the third safety car now of this Tier 1 first race of the season. Goodness me, can we get a bit of a flow going, please, gentlemen? Because this has been one of those races to forget for Gabor, and also like to get Kowski, Chelsea, Hazara, and Venom as well. Surely now, Quantum and Barracu and Cloud LX3 must go into a set of medium component tyres, because the hard component tyre, yes, they won't be worn, but they will be getting worse as the time goes on. Everyone actually is into the pit lane, and unfortunately, as we know, Justin is double stacking again with Joe Murphy.
Oh, poor Justin. I wonder though if there's going to be enough time. I'm looking on board from Justin's point of view. It's very, very minor in the way of held time. But Furious, the driver that didn't pit, is got fresh set of Joe Murphy medium tyres behind. Cameron Dowds, Flotman, Lucas, Andrea and Nick all deciding to risk the soft compound of tyres. I don't think they're going to get over 5 laps of good use. Safety car out for free. They might be lucky. But they are going to be screaming towards the end with the grain.
Only people, I believe, that should have been on soft component tyres is anyone below 10th place, because there's nothing to lose, you might as well. Cameron Dowds, Flotman and Lucas is a massive call to make, because the mediums, like, they will be in a fantastic window, and as you said, the softs, the graining is so bad on this F1 24 game. The tyres wear but very much unevenly, and also they wear a lot more, especially for the softer component tyres. So yeah, if they're going to make those moves, they need to make them very quickly. We're talking the next 2 to 3 laps. As soon as that DRS activated, they need to be using that battery, using that DRS, getting in the slipstreams, and really just going for it, because as you said, the softs will be dying out coming to the dire end of this race.
I'm just thinking, Barracu and Furious, teammates technically could work. Joe Murphy's in a bit of a problem here, but if they don't work together, I think Joe Murphy and Barracu will be maybe the top step of the podium. I'm not sure which way around, but Furious could have just played an absolute wonder card. We just don't know at the moment. They're going to be easier to heat up and get up to racing temperature, aren't they? Being that little bit older and being a little bit used, but they won't go as far as Joe Murphy or Barracu.
YouTube chat saying here, Furious selling the victory potentially had close to 7 lap wheels compared to brand new fresh mediums. Is going to be a difference. Hopefully this is like F1 23 where you sit out the old tyres and all of a sudden your tyres just don't exist anymore compared to fresh ones. But yeah, big ask for Furious. You're talking what, 7, maybe 6 laps of racing here to defend with the likes of Joe Murphy, Barracu, and even the soft runners. You know, if they can get by fast enough, they're going to be a danger to these front runners as well. You just don't want, though, as Joe Murphy and Barracu, if Cameron Dowd does get by on the soft component tyre, you need to get back by him as fast as possible, because the softs will die out and he'll get held up, meaning the others behind can then jump in ahead of Joe Murphy and Barracu as well. So it's a big risk to take for Joe Murphy and Barracu if they're going to let Cameron Dowd pass. And even if they're going to battle him, you need to be careful, because Cameron Dowd can easily have a collision with these two.
There's going to be interesting things to digest from this one. I'm just trying to think. Well, looking at the chat, apparently some drivers didn't have fresh mediums. It's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting how it all pans down. Safety car is in this lap, so it wasn't the 3 laps that I thought it would be. Soft runners are going to struggle a little bit. Let's see how they all pan out. Chat, let us know who you think is going to win. Has Furious made a mistake from not pitting? Is Joe Murphy and Barracu, is it their race to win now? Again, I'm going to give you an out here if you want it. Is Furious going to win this one still?
I'm changing my mind. I'm going to back him. I'm not going to triple down on him. I'm going to pick BR2 Joe Murphy. I think Joe Murphy will hold out with the fresher tyre and take the victory. But restart coming up now, though. Furious come around the final corner, getting us going for what will be a 6 lap shootout to the end.
He is holding it late and gone. And look in the background, Cameron Downs, Quantum and Barracu 3 wide as they come down the start-finish straight. Joe Murphy looks to the inside of TTM Furious and has got the move done. It looks like there's a little bit of argy-bargy in the background. Who's that? I think that's Cameron Downs that struggled. There's someone out. That's Flopman, who's riding the wall, nearly flipped the wall. Are we surely not going to get another safety car through all that as well? I think that one deserves a safety car with the way the car was up the barrier. But Joe Murphy leads from Barracu and Quantum picking up a 3-second time penalty, and Cameron Dowds down to 6th place.
Yeah, that was just really unlucky for Flopman. He got caught up in all the collisions there, he got whacked out wide, and unfortunately there was no way to turn that onto it. It's in the wall. And unfortunately for Flopman, with just 6 laps to go, the soft runners need to get a move on. As I said before, they're burning the battery, but they're not getting a move done. TTM looks, of course, up into 5th place. Cameron Downs dropping down to 6th. Look at MBR Justin though on the back of Cameron Downs. He's defending the inside line heavily. Look at Lucas maybe going for the outside line. Justin on the outside line of Cameron Downs. He's not been given much space on the curb. Maybe this time for Quartz though. On the inside line goes GT10 Quartz. Quartz can't get through. Holding out is MBR. Justin there's a swap there to the 2 GT10 guys, and that's Ghost King and Quartz swapping positions, and clearly there's me through on TF10 Nick as well.
I haven't actually been able to see who went through what there. That was absolutely insane with some of those drivers. Cameron Downs really struggling. Lucas has had such a good restart from all this, so that's an interesting one. And looking at it from a Justin perspective, who again is attacking Cameron Downs but nothing doing on this occasion. TTM Lucas is looking back, looking to attack Quantum. Furious nearly out of a second range of Barracu ahead. He's in trouble, so is Quantum. This is interesting. Instead of it being Furious and Joe Murphy running away with it, it's Joe Murphy and Barracu running away with it.
Yeah, I mean, that was kind of expected now, to be honest with you. These two have the freshest medium compound of tyres. Who is really going to take this though? It's getting so close to the front. Cameron Downs to TTM Lucas. Look at the move. Tension for Cameron Downs on Quantum. Quantum struggling once more. Oh, look, it's in the gravel there. Love it from Justin, a knock from the MBR driver. Sent him to the gravel. TTM Lucas has lost out massively. He's down into 11th place, and TTM Lucas has spun and down into P14. What an unfortunate turn of events for the man that was sat in 6th place, just 1 corner to go at the front though. It's all cool, calm and collected for Joe Murphy and Barracu. TTM Furious not to be written off yet, but the tyres will be slowly dying out with just four more laps of racing to go. It's really Joe Murphy and Barracu.
Jesus, this is nuts with everything that's going on. Ghost King is throwing it up the inside at turn 13, which I think is putting, which is some drivers aren't expecting, as Cameron Downs getting passed by Quartz. These soft tyres, Cameron just seems to, when the tyres are fresh, he seems to be struggling a little bit. In front of this train at the moment is Quantum, and he's struggling through all this as well. Furious has done a good job of catching back up to the fresh run of his tyres. He's doing a good job at the moment, but Ghost King all over the back of Quantum. He wants more than 5th place.
Yeah, his teammate, GT10 teammate, going to go around the outside of Quantum. He's going to get that move done and nicely pulled off by GT10. Quartz, the 2 GT10 guys making these medium tyres work. People questioned how did they manage to make it WR Tier 1 while they're showing themselves here up in P4 and P5. Still got one more position to potentially gain each, with a P3 and P4 potential on the cards for these two teammates, I believe, this season. Joe Murphy though has got on the back of Barracu already. Barracu did go through before that left-handed corner. They're going to keep switching on DRS to DRS every single lap, but they need to be careful though. They don't want to introduce Furious into this fight, because Furious, even though his tyres are wrong, you can never write him off as it is with Cameron Downs, who by the way I believe is really out of this race now. Soft pump on a tyre, the wrong choice indeed. Look at all the soft runners down in 14th, 13th, 11th. Cameron Downs goes down in 6th place.
We have lost 6 drivers here tonight. We've lost Venom and Hazaro on the first lap in the first sector. Gatkowski and Chelsea went next. Then Gabble and Flopman has gone. Nick and Zorzo fighting away, but we're going to stay on board with Barracu, Joe Murphy and Furious for the lead of this Grand Prix. Ghost King has reduced the gap. He's trying to get this back into a, 8-way fight for the lead. Everyone, if he can, everyone down to Cloud, could have a chance of winning this one.
Yeah, I mean, you just never know what's going to happen ahead. Look at Quartz now on his teammate GT10. Ghost King will not Looking off there through goes Quartz on GT10, Ghost King 4th and 5th for these two guys, using that slipstream, using the slingshot on each other to get back in the DRS of Furious, potentially stealing a podium for one of these two guys. Cameron Downs now doesn't seem to be gaining any time at all. Those soft tyres will not be in a good range. And look at MBR Justin, he's on the battery, he's using the DRS and his slipstream advantage that he's got. He's not going to be able to get by now though. Cameron Downs will hold out 6th place once more for maybe one more lap at the moment. Look at Justin now though, switching to the inside line, now changing to the outside line. When the corner comes up, TTM Lucas got a 3-second time penalty, but nothing will stop Justin getting by. Cameron Downs dropping down to 7th, MBR Justin up in the 2nd.
So it appears Cameron Downs will not be going 4 in a row. Barricue still leading the Grand Prix from Joe Murphy and Furious rounding out the podium positions with Quartz agonisingly close to the to that lead battle. It's nearly under a second, but then as soon as the guys ahead open that DRS, it's a bit of a pull away.
Yeah, exactly. It's going to be a pull away. I think GT10 Ghost King going to get through on Quartz here. Look at Justin as well, getting through on Ghost King potentially as well. Going to be back off now. He does. And up the inside goes Cameron Downs on the inside lane on Cloud LXV here. Cameron Downs from absolutely nowhere sent on the inside lane to Cloud LXV. Cloud LXV on the outside lane with a better comp on the tyre. Cameron puts him off the track. Cameron's going to hold position though. Cloud LXV on the inside lane. Through goes Cloud LXV on the Scotsman now down in 8th place and potentially will be highest if he wants to get this race.
This is, well, Justin's 6 seconds penalty is going to be awkward for him because he's doing such a good job, but I think he might drop down to 8th. I don't know if Zulzo is going to be able to hold on to it at the moment, but penultimate lap of the race, Barricue still leads. Are we seeing, I've got to go back up to the leaders, are we seeing Joe Murphy play a very, very long game and attack on the final lap? Because it is very, you don't want to overtake on that 28 if you don't have the battery to hold it with it. Because just this straight alone, you get so much more pace.
Both equal on battery, both maybe planning on the overtake. Look at Joe Murphy backing off on the back of Barricue as expected, but both having the full battery could be crucial. Barracuda's got to play this smart though, because they can't slow down too much to introduce Furious into this fight. They know how much faster they can be in the high downforce parts of the track, especially sector 1. With the newer tyres compared to Furious' 7 lap older tyres that he has got on. So really this could go either way for anyone. Ghost King I believe should really out of this fight for the lead. Is going to be Barricue, Joe Murphy or Furious winning this first tier 1 race of the season. Who's it going to be? Let's all find out for one final lap here in Melbourne.
Into turn 1, the leaders go then. A little bit of a snap of oversteer by Joe Murphy, but not enough to displace him. He's still 0.3 of a second behind Barricue as they head on down into turn 3. This isn't going to be an overtaking opportunity for him. He's not going to risk it probably until, well, the straight between turn 8 and 9. You can't really call it a straight because it's got a kink in it, but apparently that doesn't count as a corner according to the FIA. But BRT Joe Murphy, this is where he's got to push. He's got to use all his battery. He's got to throw it all down now, or otherwise it could be race over for him unless he can do it down into 11. Look how close he goes to the outside into turn 9, and Joe Murphy and Barricue side by side. There's contact and there's more contact, and Barricue and Joe Murphy all the way. You should have stayed and tripled down on TTM Furious, because he has managed to navigate the chaos between himself and Barricue, and he's going round turn 13, and he's going to be season 18's first winner in console tier 1, and he's done it the hard way, but my goodness me, he's won this race. Barricue then going to lose it across the line. Well, no, he's not. He kept P2 in the end, but my goodness me.
Wow, I did not expect something like that to come on the first race of the season. Barricue and Joe Murphy collided. Joe Murphy was not happy with it. You can tell he retired immediately after he found out in the wall. We should say that was incredible. But I should have tripled down on Furious. I backed him all the way, except the end. The incident, of course, has happened ahead. He's took the win though. He said the first race of season 18, giving himself those 25 points. He kept his race pretty much clean all the way, but I'll tell you one thing, the stewards might be a little bit busy regarding that last little incident between Joe Murphy and Barrett Hugh.
Oh, well, no words really to describe that one. We've got a little bit of time, I guess, to really digest that one, I guess, is the best way to do it. As we watch TTM Furious pick the trophy. Oh, goodness me. Goodness me. Let's go down the order because I don't fully believe it, what we've seen so far tonight. Furious takes the win from Barracu. Bear in mind, guys, this is before stewards' inquiries. Quartz rounding out the podium positions. Cloud LXV in 4th. 5th is Ghost King. Cameron Dowd finishing in 6th in the end on those soft compound of tyres. Justin in 7th. 8th to Ryan. Nick in 9th. Andrea in 10th, rounding out the point scoring position. Then we had Quantum, Lucas, Zorzo finishing the race. No finish for Joe Murphy, Flotman, Gabble, Chelsea or Gatkowski, Hazara or Venom. Let's get the calendar out of the way. How do we describe that one? Because that was... I mean, there was some really great racing at the start, and then there was that.
That is one way to introduce the season. You've got to say you couldn't have really picked a more controversial start to a season. Of course, everyone did in the chat, why Furious stayed out, why done that? Well, sometimes that can be, the luck can be on your side, and Furious has walked away with a race win. He's walked away with 25 points. Of course, Joe Murphy will have some not very nice words to say regarding himself and Barracu's incident. I think James Head was right in the chat saying, why has Barracu done that? Why has Joe Murphy done that? Maybe you can argue both sides. Maybe it would be a racing incident. Maybe Joe Murphy. I mean, all I know is that Joe Murphy, from what I seen, did come swerving all the way back across the track and hitting Barracu into the wall. So potentially there's more to it, but all we know is that Furious is a guaranteed race winner unless he's been involved in any other instance, which I don't think he would have been because he's pretty much near the front the whole time.
Yeah, interesting. Definitely one to watch out for. I'm not sure many of the people will want to chat about that one. We'll see if anyone does go into the waiting for interview room. But yeah, it's an interesting one. James Head saying he wait for turn 11. I just don't think he put the power down soon enough on that back straight, because he's going to have DRS down that back straight to help defend from the slipstream. I don't know. It is very, very crazy to think. But yeah, we didn't have a driver run off in the distance, did we? It was a little bit of a cat and mouse game with the snake, but it kind of worked until that point.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, as you said, the snake generated quite quickly in terms of the DRS train, but yeah, I mean, also then the mid-race Quantum kind of dropped off with his medium tyres that he was on. The hards were obviously the better tyre to be on in that situation. The hard medium looks to be the strategy in terms of Australia races anyway. For some of these drivers, I've learned the hard way today, but yeah, I think even Cammy Dowds can be a bit annoyed with how his race went. Obviously, soft comp in a tyre, big call to make, it hasn't paid off. You've hindered your chances already. And in terms of a tier 1 title fight, as we know, Cammy Dowds was looking for 4 in a row today. They qualified P14, finishes somewhere, I think it was just inside the points. But yeah, overall, disappointing day for Cammy Dowds. But you know, these races they'll learn from. We're all getting used to this new game. Hopefully next week we will have the normal cars back as well. We can actually see who's teammates and who's not. Because of course, MVR Justin lost out to that double stack with Joe Murphy as well. So you know, these little things can all add up in the end.
Especially, you know, talking about Justin, I did want to bring that up. He's so unlucky, but he has some incredible pace tonight. Definitely a driver. If he didn't have that double stack, possibly for one you could have said for a victory.
Yeah, I think that's quite easy to say. Justin, as you said, right at the end of the race, looked very competitive on the right set of tyre like everyone else was. Of course, penalties holding him back in the end, which are no fault of his own. Maybe he was involved in some incidents, but yeah, as you said, I think Justin's not one to write off yet. Joe Murphy I think he'll bounce back from what has just happened in front of everyone's eyes, because that was something. That was I did not expect that. Cause I think you felt my reaction to it. I did not expect something like that to happen, especially because it's the first race. I mean, it's not like it's last lap or the last trying to win the championship. It's the first race. We just threw away massive point potentially with Barricue and Joe Murphy, but we'll let the stewards decide that one.
Definitely, and Flotman felt for him, not the race he deserved. Nearly got flipped over the barrier.
Yeah, no, I actually was on board with Flopman, luckily. It was just calamity all the way through. He banged the wheels of someone, and then it was just a case of pinching, and then the wall came, unfortunately, on the right-hand side, and he was flying through the air, is the best way to describe it. The wheel fell off, he was in the air, and he didn't get... The actual, luckily, was no other safety car. If there was a safety car, that might have changed the race again, because then Furious might have thought you were going to jump on softs now, which would have been the right call to make. But we've learned today some crucial things going ahead, that maybe Barricue and Joe Murphy may have another incident next week.
Yeah. Unfortunately, average F1 blokes, our Division 3 commentator and his desire to get all the drivers into a chat at once to hear their views isn't going to happen tonight. I think there might be... I think we could do with a beep button for all the swearing that might go on. I know that's something that we joked about for a different incident, but before the stream started. But anyway, yeah, this has been WOR. It's not the race we were expecting, but still had plenty of action for us to behold tonight. Ross, any final words on this one?
I think it's kind of summed up in front of us all how this season's going to pan out, especially for Joe Murphy. Furious, that's got the luck on his side. Will it happen again? You really never know at this point. You never know what to expect. But yeah, no, thank you everyone for tuning in. I tell you what, if it's the same next week, we're going to have some season in our hands.
Definitely. Let's hope it's not as hot next week, because I'm still sweating. And I can only imagine what the drivers out there have been. Thank you so much for being my commentator tonight, and for the rest of the season. I'm certain it's going to be an absolute incredible season to behold. We have been WOR. That's right, I've got a flag in the background there. And you have been great in the chat. Thank you so much for all the chat. It is great to see it coming through. It's nice to just see it coming through in the corner of our eyes, just to make sure that we haven't sent you to sleep. Anyway, we will see you next week for the Austrian Grand Prix. If anything like the other OS of the racetrack, which is Australia, we're in for an absolute treat. And we have had plenty of controversial parts in the past here in Austria as well, so it's going to be a great one. Anyway, thank you for watching, and we'll catch you in the next one.